don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sledgehammer Performance. Today I'm going to be talking about my 2014 Corvette Stingray, the history behind it, what I've done to it so far, and where I'm planning on going. Here's the car the day after it was delivered. The car lacked a lot of normal Corvette options, but this will change over the years I own it. I have performed roughly 15 minor modifications to it so far, but I anticipate a few more before the car becomes what I want. One of the first things I did was order an AFE Power Momentum cold air intake with an oiled filter. This was quite a bit of a pain to put in, but it was worth it because it did improve the sound of the car quite a bit. Attached to that is a Solaire Performance 91mm throttle body. One of the more controversial mods I've done is to add red exhaust tunnel lights in the rear of the car. Included with that install was Oracle side markers as well, so this gives the car a nice colorful look at night that really grabs a lot of attention. The next modification was a Z06 style front grille provided by Extreme Online Sports. It was a nice addition to the car, but I did have to add an aero plate mount to the front because my state does require front license plates. After that installation, I decided that the rear end needed some attention, and I've always wanted a rear spoiler. So I decided to buy a Dar Spoilers Wicker Bill inspired rear spoiler painted carbon flash metallic. This was not very hard to put on because I went with the 3M tape instead of the bolts because I did not want to drill into the body of my car. In October of 2024, this is what my car looked like. I did add a Stage 1 front splitter, which I thought looked pretty nice, and they were pretty cheap off of eBay, so I didn't mind spending $70 to change the look of the front end slightly. Over the winter, I decided to add an Extreme Online Store's Z06 style hood vent, painted in carbon flash metallic. It turned out really nice, and I like the aggressive look of the hood now. In May of 2025, I added this metal hood liner emblem, and I think it turned out really nice as well. And now on to another controversial mod, my fuel rail lights. These are RGB lights, so I can make them appear in any color that I want. They can have different animation features such as a heartbeat, or it can actually bounce to the beat of the music. So I think they're pretty neat. Got a bad reception on them from the Corvette forum, but I kind of expected that. It's my car and I'll do what I want, and I do really like them. Now we're getting into some big stuff. In June of 2025, I added these Morimoto Generation 2 C8 style headlights, and I chose to go with amber for the DRLs because I really like that different look. This was a great modification. I'm really glad I did it, and I got a great deal on them from Cole at vetlights.com, so there was no reason for me not to order these. If you look on my YouTube channel, there's a whole video on how to get these installed to make your Corvette look as great as mine does. So deciding that Morimoto headlights were not enough, in July I decided to go with Morimoto Generation 2 C8 style taillights, and I really like the way these turned out. I had blackouts on my stock taillights, and these are the smoked version, and I think they turned out really cool. They have a really neat animation sequence that lights up, and the sequential turn signals are really nice as well. Check out my install video on the Sledgehammer Performance channel to see exactly how these go in to make your Corvette look great. One thing I wanted to do since the day I got the car was to replace the round steering wheel with a flat bottom wheel that's found on the 2016 and later models. I found this one on Amazon from a company called Revasol, and it turned out really nice. It's just a little bit thicker than stock, and it's a really comfortable steering wheel to hold on to as you're driving down the road. The additions I made to this steering wheel setup are the 6.2 liter decal on the bottom, which is normally designed to go on the side vents, and the two paddle shifter extensions that I also got off Amazon. The final modification I've made in July is my EOS Stage 2 front splitter with winglets that's also painted carbon metallic flash. This was a really cool addition. These are kind of expensive, but I was really happy with the finish on this. And all the screw holes lined up with factory, so it was probably a 10-minute install for me. Not a bad deal. Before we wrap up, I wanted to cover a few modifications that were not pictured in this video. Number one is a Redenso radar detector, which I have mounted to my rearview mirror with a blend mount, and it gets its power from that same mirror by virtue of the OnStar wiring. Number two is a range AFM disabler to keep the car in V8 mode at all times. And number three is a Solaire Performance throttle controller, which has been by far one of the greatest mods to this car because it changes the whole personality and the way the car drives. And finally is the Stinger hood decal that I had applied to the hood, and this was done by Brian over at Sharpline. At the same time, I had him tint the rear windows and the quarters 18%, and the side windows got 70% ceramic, which is still legal in my state.